views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Starting now, Becoming a Sun Radio Emotional and Spiritual Intelligence for a Happy, Fulfilling Life with visionary leader David Karchere. This hit show is a guide to the human journey, individually and collectively. David believes that humanity is evolving to become a conscious expression of the creative power within us. And each show reveals how to activate this creative expression to the fullest. Stay tuned because this is all happening right now.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Dr. Pat, and I'm here with David Karchere, and we're so thrilled, to be bringing you Becoming a Sun Radio. Today, the conversation is so important, given the times we live in today, but also because of the evolution of consciousness. Primal spirituality, the innate spirituality of humankind. Now, for those of you that already know David, then I'm going to be a little bit redundant. But, his life and his passion is beyond being an author, a speaker, a poet, a workshop leader. He is one of the foremost thought leaders on primal spirituality worldwide. And, today, bringing the conversation as he brings forth his first book, Becoming a Sun, is about touching the hearts, the minds, the souls of all of us that are battling our own demons from within and navigating through the waters of chaos sometimes. David, what a great topic, great show. Welcome. It's great to have you here.
Hey, David, are you there? So, Pat, let me go ahead and try to reconnect him.
Yeah, let's do that. And in the meantime, let me just tell all of you about what the show is going to encompass. Primal spirituality is the innate spirituality, as I said, of humankind. So understanding and opening the 7 gateways of experience using enlightened principles of emotional and spiritual intelligence allows for deeper wisdom and enlightened application of life. Now, here's the thing that we get confused about sometimes. We hear the term intelligence. We hear intelligence as we know it from our own culture. Sometimes we think that means IQ. But I'll tell you what we've discovered here in recent times. There are other bodies of intelligence that are so important to humankind. One of them is, of course, emotional intelligence. But how about our spirituality? How about that thing that perhaps transcends any numbers you may have scored on a test? Anything about what you think this innate spirituality is about. Today, we're going to get an opportunity to deepen our own spiritual experience and gain a deeper understanding of our lives. That's what David's talking about today. David, welcome here because, this idea, this notion of primal spirituality truly is a gateway to solve a lot of the problems we have in just our day-to-day lives, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. So, today our president is meeting with the Pope.
Yeah.
And if I could be a fly on the wall on that one.
Yeah.
But, there's so much on the world scene that's happening that is clearly just so out of a pattern of reasonableness or out of a pattern of care and respect for each other as human beings. And then you go to the individual scene, and there's so much that's happening in our lives. And for so many people, they end up running around just to make ends meet and to just keep things going. And we look at all that, and so often we're coming up with kind of makeshift answers or kind of reactionary answers to what's happening. But what is the deeper answer? What has truly gone wrong in the human experience, maybe our own experience? And I do believe it comes back to our own innate connection with the source of our own being and how that gets disrupted in a human life.
Yeah. And, we're not short of experience to get disrupted in our human life. I mean, you just pointed to one experience, but the idea of disruption is something that we can dial up full steam pretty much every day that we are living. But that's actually not what's in the idea of flow, is it?
No, not at all. And
Mm-hmm.
I suspect our listeners know a lot about this already, that actually in the living of our lives, the reactionary answer to what's happening isn't helping.
Right.
But that in the face of whatever it is, that somehow we have to access some kind of source of peace within ourselves, some source of kindness within ourselves, and find a way to be in our world that is an expression of that, and then find people who resonate with that kind of experience.
It seems like for many of us, we're seeking. But let's talk about what we mean by primal spirituality.
Sure.
And the gateways of blessing and understanding.
Yes. So, we consider certain peoples indigenous peoples. For instance, the Native Americans on this land. And so it is and around the world. And with utmost respect to all those peoples that we traditionally think of indigenous people, I say that we are all indigenous peoples, maybe displaced, but we have at our root
I don't know.
other.
Yeah.
And an intuitive way of being together. And what opens that up for us are the things that you just mentioned. An experience of blessing, knowing we are blessed and we have blessing to give, and an experience of understanding, like understanding ourselves and understanding other people.
Yeah. I love this. I want to talk about blessing for a minute. And the warmth of blessing. I love the term blessing. And I got to tell you, for me in my life, and I don't think I'm alone in this, David, I think it's one of the more misunderstood terms we use in our culture, right?
Yeah.
We think, wait a minute, I haven't earned a blessing. I haven't lived in the way I should live. There are only a handful of people that are blessed or receive blessings. And, I'm saying that because I don't think I'm alone in kind of my view of this. And I'm not sitting up on a mountain meditating all day. So why would I be able to receive the blessing?
Yeah,
Why,
blessing.
David?
Yeah, well, blessing actually is always present and always available. But there's some way that we wall it off from our own human heart. We tend to think of blessing as something like good that happens in our life. But it's deeper than that, actually. It's something that has to penetrate the heart, that empowers us, that makes us feel the softness, the tenderness, and the warmth at our core. And that is the very essence of love, universal love, that's at the heart of the human experience. I heard recently from two really inspirational people, really enlightened thinkers. And they happen to be spiritual leaders in the world. And the one is the Dalai Lama, who says that the answer to the world's problems is warmth of heart. Now, who would have thought that? A simple thing like having a warm heart answers the world's problems. So when we open up the heart, it warms up. Now, the other one was the Pope, who recently said that he wanted to initiate a revolution of tenderness. So looking out at all the problems in the world,
Yeah.
in an individual life or in the world at large, he said there has to be a revolution of tenderness. So I'm all about that for myself and for with anyone who's up for being part of that revolution, because when the heart becomes tender, it can appreciate the blessings that are already coming to it in one's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, David, I've never seen, and let me just talk about this from my experience. And, you know, I'm involved in some other projects, right, that, how should I say it? Some people would say they're humanitarian. You and I both are, right? You know, we show up here and we deliver these messages, right? But the sense of who we are in the world, you know, is part of every day of our lives, every breath we've ever taken, everything we've ever absorbed for the sake of creating a better world, right?
Yes.
And when we sit and we think about what is that next thing we want to help, you know, consciousness and humanity with, we come to today's conversation. And now I want to take a short break, but here's what I want to say, and I would love for you to talk about it when we come back. We are here to receive this, the blessing, the understanding, and much more. What would it take for this to happen to all of us, David? What would it take? That's why I love this show today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Discover the healing medicine from the giant monkey tree frog Kambo. Kambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and professional psychic Todd Rolson have come together for lively discussions of alternative healing medicines from the Amazon. Ginny and Todd bring you Kambo Talk Radio. Tune in each Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear from guests all over the world with real life stories and the medicinal benefits of Kambo. For more information, visit kambokiss.com.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Do you feel that there's a bigger, better life for you? Is there anything holding you back from living the life you were meant to live? If you'd like to find your life's true purpose and calling, join the world's foremost authority on primal spirituality, David Karchere, in Becoming a Sun Radio, emotional and spiritual intelligence for a happy, fulfilling life. Tune in once a month to Becoming a Sun Radio with David Karchere on the Dr. Pat Show and Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit davidkarchere.com today.
Treat the Body and Expand the Soul on June 1st with Lynn Brown. In this all-inclusive retreat, you'll treat your body with breakout sessions in the various elements of nature, enjoy fireside chats while harnessing the healing energy of fire, allow more light with more ease, and activate that connection between the body and spirit. Call 206-931-7356 or visit lynnmbrown.com. Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome back. David Karchere and I, Dr. Pat, we're here today, to invite you to take a journey with us today. And what's the journey? And David and I were just talking about this a little bit. David works with people, they come and visit this sacred space he has, which you're going to hear about it. And, primal spirituality and the workshops that he's put together, the 7 gateways, are ways for us to really look beyond our day-to-day, but fully embrace the moments that we live in. David, before we go ahead and talk about understanding, how can people find out more about these? How can they, look at what's you all have created? Really transformative work.
Well, the best place to go is davidkarchere.com.
Mm-hmm.
And people can go to my website and find out about my work. And then they can find out about the series of courses that we're doing on primal spirituality that begin with blessing and understanding. And also my workshop, Becoming a Sun, that we'll be doing later in the year.
Wow. So here we are, we're talking about blessing, then we're talking about understanding. And we're going to talk about some of these gateways here today in the show. Let's stop for a minute and talk about this second gateway. When we say gateway, David, can you say a little bit more about that? Because I think it's a term that we hear quite often, but we don't really fully understand what it means. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it's an opening of consciousness or awareness. But then with that opening of awareness comes new energy into your life, a new experience. And then there's something new that you're bringing into your world when that gateway is opened inside yourself. And the gateway has associated with it emotional intelligence. In other words, there are emotional factors that relate to awareness and then the increase of energy in our life. And there's ways that we get emotionally shut down. And then with the emotional shutdown comes an energetic shutdown. And then there's a way of thinking, a kind of lower level of awareness that we end up living in just because the larger culture tends to do that. So we need to do something deliberate to allow the heart to become tender, to begin to be wise about our own emotional experience and the gateways that are present in the emotional body, so that energetically there's something different happening in our life. There's new energy that we have, there's new insight that is coming online and then is being injected into our life and shared with all the people around us.
Yeah. Understanding. Some of us think in the scheme of things that waiting to talk is understanding. What gets in the way? What from your experience, David, what gets in the way for most of us when it comes to understanding?
Well, a very simple thing is simply tranquility of mind. So if, as I think you're implying, if we're with another person, even as you and I are together here on this show, if we're with another person and our whole attention is all about what we're going to say, and we're not listening deeply to that other person, then we're not understanding them. We're not allowing who they are to speak to us and to be received. So understanding is a giving and it's a receiving. It's a back and forth. And there's all kinds of levels at which we can be listening. We can be listening to the very words that another person is saying. We can be thinking about the meaning of the words. We can be thinking about what they didn't say. And then we can be listening to the heart of a person and what's behind the words, the intention, the feeling, and the soul of the person that is being expressed in those feelings. And that may sound like a lot, but to me it's an everyday experience. Yes, it's relevant for those closest of relationships. And if understanding isn't present in the closest of relationships, things break down. But, in a business interaction, isn't the same thing relevant? Shouldn't you be listening to that other person. And by the way, my experience in business is that if you are listening, you are receiving, you're hearing their intention deeply, something different is happening in that business relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah. I have to tell you something that is very touching to me about this topic. When I lived in the corporate world, I mean, not that I don't have a corporation now, David, right? I mean, that's not what I'm saying. We do business too.
Yes.
We do business. But I got to tell you, I do it differently now. I live my life in a way where I have a lot of people around me that help me stay in check with the vision and the mission of what we're creating. And understanding what that vision and mission is so important. And yet at the same time, we can, at any given day, at any given team meeting, getting together, we can be on totally different pages. And some of us think that, wait a minute, communication is understanding, but I don't know that is all, that's not the whole thing, is it?
Yeah, I totally agree. There are two words that sound a lot alike, and they're communication and communion. And I'm not talking about Holy Communion in the church. I'm just talking about the communion that's possible heart to heart with another person. So yes, there's a communication back and forth, and that's all important. But in the middle of that, there's a question of how are we being with that person? What kind of deeper exchange is present? And if we're all about kind of forcing our idea on the situation, well, we're not going to deeply understand other people, but we're also not going to deeply understand the situation. I had a situation yesterday, just yesterday, very similar to what you're describing. I sat down with three people who are close to me and that I work with closely, and I had to listen deeply to what they were telling me about important decisions that I had to make. And I could have just jammed my decision on the situation and on them, but I was deeply interested in understanding them. But in understanding them, I was actually understanding something deeply about the situation that we're in and the particular project that we're working on together. And I'm in a wiser place. Something different and better is going to happen because of that.
Yeah. David, some people may be thinking right now, whoa, you know what? I don't really think I want to understand this or I want to understand that. You know what? I just want my life to be great. I want to make sure I keep my job. I'm hanging out with my kids. But let's talk about compassion for a minute. I don't know about you, but I heard this clip on TV this morning, I think it was, because I always try to stay up on current events. And I was listening to somebody, I honestly don't know who it was, but it was the budget guy, I think, talking about how cutting like $4 billion from CHIP, the children's program, is compassionate. And I thought, Pat, I got to keep an open mind. Maybe I don't understand. So is part of this to keep an open mind so that we hear the full story? Help me with this, because my initial reaction was not compassion right there.
Right. So,
can you see my dilemma?
I certainly do. And, there's so many things like that, whether it's, on the public scene, on the national scene, or even in our own private lives. And, the reality is, related to whatever subject you want to talk about, we're going to make some kind of decision and do something. So that is coming. But in the meantime, wouldn't we like to really understand the field that we're in as deeply as we can? And can't we admit that if we have a knee-jerk response, that we're not going to have a deeper understanding? And whatever the issue is, we're going to understand it better if we see it from multiple perspectives. And like I say, in the end, we're going to do something. We're going to decide, having seen from 360 degrees, this is what I'm going to do. But we'll make a wiser decision, I believe, if we bring understanding. And And I think, you mentioned compassion. I think maybe we're afraid that if we're compassionate, that we couldn't make the hard decision that we need to make. And I say that that's not really true. That if, for instance, if I have a child, I'm going to be compassionate with that child. Love them to bits, give my life for them. But when it comes down to it, in that compassion, yes, I may have a hard decision to make. In the end, I have to make a decision about how I'm going to bring that child up. But that will go better if I'm willing to allow myself to be there in blessing and understanding. And in my view, you take those two things together, blessing and understanding, and it adds up to compassion. If I'm blessing somebody and I'm understanding them, I'm being compassionate with them.
This is really a conversation that for, many people listening, I want to just be really clear about. This is also a way for us to know how to create a harmonious life. You know what I mean? I used to have a mentor, David, when she was alive. She used to say to me, Pat, God forbid that peace were to break out. And what she was saying is that what would you do without chaos? What would you do in the world without disruption? What would you do? When we come back, we're going to talk about what we could do, what the world of possibilities could look like. What happens when we put this together, as David is teaching countless people about how to do? What comes next? It's the third gateway. It's the one where the rubber meets the road. Stay tuned. David Karchere, Becoming a Sun. I'm Dr. Pat. We will be right back. Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Be you plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so thrilled to be talking with David Karchere today because this is about primal spirituality, the innate spirituality of humankind. And what I love about David and love about what he does, and he's going to share a little bit of this with us now, is each and every one of us has the ability to experience this and to live our lives this way. And, you know, most of us, though, have had to kind of stumble and fumble along to really get it. And one of the things that, David, you're going to talk a little bit about is that we don't have to necessarily stumble and fumble. There are ways that we can learn how to be in this world and how to experience primal spirituality. You know, this third gateway is about taking intelligent action. And what that means is maybe taking a workshop, right?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, if as we were just sharing on the break, the real change that happens in somebody's life, yes, it may involve something external, but basically it's a shift in the heart. And then when there's a shift, a subtle shift in the heart, like a new desire that's coming in, something more that you want in your life, then you have to take a look at what would allow you to actually move into that more deeply and then take action on it. And so we just had a workshop for 4 days here at Sunrise Ranch where I live. And it was incredible for me and for all the other people there. And you know, Pat, I had new vision. I had new understanding because I took the action of creating this workshop. And whenever I lead a workshop like this, I don't figure it's just for other people. It's for me too. I'm in it, in the experience of it. And so something shifts and changes. And so you're calling it where the rubber meets the road.
That's just me.
Yeah, but it's taking an action, but not just any action. It's an action based on a subtle shift of the heart that you want to experience in your life and embody in your life and allow to become real for you. Because if the actions you're taking have no relevance to the depth of what's inside you, well then it's not real to you. It's just a feeling. It's just a thought. But you make it real when you embody it, when you act on it, and you let it live in the world and in your life.
I want to just talk with you a little bit about why we get so stuffed. What is it about taking intelligent action that may or may not happen? I mean, listen, David, I created an entire concept called crust busting, by the way, which people really want me to bring back because it really talked about my own experience of sitting on the couch and getting so crusted over that I couldn't move. I just couldn't move. But the reason that I actually did move didn't have anything to do with somebody calling me or getting me off. It had to do with what you're talking about here and being able to, how should I say it, hear myself, right?
Yeah, I think it's hear yourself, which is like understand yourself, to receive the messages that are coming from deep within your own soul. And then it's also to love yourself. Like, do you love yourself enough to act upon the deepest desires of your heart? That's an act of self-love, really, when you act upon those deep desires. When you don't just kind of walk through your life as it is, assuming the way it is set up, the way you have it set up, is the way it's got to be. but you act on those deepest impulses intelligently and thoughtfully, yes, but it's actually getting up and moving. It's doing something, and not just anything, but something that gives expression to that deep desire. And the people around you may not know what you're doing or understand what you're doing, but you can know, and you can have enough self-love, self-pride that you actually do it.
You know, David, many of the things that I'm sure you know, and the people you work with and how you work with them, clearly don't even know. If you're like anything like me, or at least, the way I show up sometimes is I don't even know what I don't know. There's this sense that I need to be here. I need to look at the issues that are in my life, right? But this third step third gateway is about how to masterfully address these issues that show up in our lives, right? But, I'm not just talking about, oh, yeah, I got to go to the bank. I got to make a deposit. I got to do the laundry. Beyond the practical, there's something else. There's a different energy. You call it spiritual energy. Can you talk to that, please?
Well, the word spiritual, it could mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. I can say what it means to me. It simply means that there's a source of our power as human beings. There's a source of our wisdom and intelligence. There's a source of our deep love that comes from some place that is somehow bigger than we are, or is beyond the immediate four walls of our human experience. And when we open up to that source, the wisdom and the power of what's inside us and what our life is meant to be about comes into us. And so spirituality is simply accessing that. It's a mysterious source of what drives us, what moves us forward in our life.
Some people say, David, and I want to talk about this because I think it's really important to bring it to the forefront. I've heard people say that, wait a minute, this spiritual energy doesn't always help me move forward. It really keeps me stuck sometimes. It keeps me, inactive. It keeps me from creating a better life. And it certainly gets in the way of me creating a better world. And I want to talk to you about taking action in this way and how it truly reflects and can unleash an individual's personal dreams. Because I know I've experienced it. I know you have, but people listening may not know that part.
Right. As I listen to what you're saying, Pat, it sounds to me like someone who might say what you repeated has an experience of some kind of escapist spirituality.
Right.
And I'm not talking about that. I believe that a heart-connected spirituality motivates one to live one's life in a full, rich, and generous way, and a way that ends up being of service to one's world, that ends up living with the understanding that you have a gift to give. Hats off to you and the gift you're giving to the world. You've accessed that gift because you care, because you have a deep and rich heart, and you know that you can make a difference. And I think that's how it is for anybody. If you access the depth of the love and the wisdom that's within you, where does that take you? Does it take you to, oh, no, I don't care about anybody else, or I don't care about the world. I'm just going to, do things that make me happy? I don't think that's true. I think for somebody who's really accessing the depth of their own soul, it is so natural for that depth to bring the great compelling urge to live our life, to give our gift, to make a difference, all those things in the world. And all of those things are about taking action. Not any action again, but action based on what's in us.
Yeah. Uh, David, I'm sure that there have been many people, we're going to talk about this too when we come back. There have been many people that you've worked with, and certainly you are having conducting the workshops to help people, not just in their own individual way, but also in a way for the greater good. And for those of you listening, just go to David's website, davidkarchere.com. Or what you could do is just go to Transformation Talk Radio and just click on the free download that he's put together, 7 Spiritual Strategies for Fulfilling Relationships. It's a great ebook. It's right there on Transformation Talk Radio and also the Dr. Pat Show, but also at davidkarchere.com/blessing. When we come back, David, I would like to talk to you about the mission. How do we create this mission? This is the 4th gateway, fulfilling mission. How do we know when it is the right mission? And then what are some of the motivating factors that move us from thinking about our dream and enacting our dream? All of that and much more when we come back. If you've got a question for David, 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. We're going to take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
When your body is awakened, your spirit comes alive. Dana Canetto is a transformational guide, embodiment coach, and spiritual mentor assisting women in realigning with their truth and embodying who they are by connecting to the wisdom of their body. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show Network for Body Divinity Radio with Dana Canetto. For more information on Dana and her services, visit danacanetto.com. That's DANACANNETO.com.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Bree Gibbs is a 4th-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration and conscious creation. Offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions, Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.com. That's silvergaia.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. David Karchere joining me here today. We're talking about primal spirituality. David, I know you're going to share something as a result of the workshop that you just had. But before we do, if there are folks that are thinking, I'd really be interested in knowing more about primal spirituality, and which is in 4 workshops, tell us a little bit about that and how that works.
Yeah, sure. So it's important to say that primal spirituality simply means our first spirituality. That's what the word primal means. So these are workshops that are intended to take us back to the spirituality with which we were born. And we have a series of 4 of them, and they begin with blessing and understanding, and then move through 3 other modules, and they're each 4 days, and they're each at Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. So we just had the first one, which is blessing and understanding, and there were 38 of us taking the program together here, and we just had this deep experience of blessing and understanding. And in the container of the workshop, it was with each other, going deep with each other, allowing love, universal love, to pour to the heart from wherever it comes, and sharing that with each other, and then having a deep understanding of our own process, and then the process of people around us, and compassion for the journey that we're each walking in our life. So it was a profound experience and a profound learning. And it really backs up the thought that subtle changes in the heart, little seemingly small changes in the heart, shift life experience. Because, I happen to be 64 years old this year. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people get to this age and they think, oh, well, the die is cast. It is what it is. Yeah. And that's not at all how it is for me.
Right.
And I felt old when I was 17. That may sound funny, but I did. And I feel younger now than I did then.
I do too, actually.
Yeah. So
I find that fascinating about us. Many people, especially the people I know, are sensing, okay, I've bought the RV, I'm going to travel. I'm like, not there. And, I get asked a lot, David, if I'm okay. That my friends want to know, is she okay? Is she going to, burn out? Is she? Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I'm not okay. I feel energized, right?
Right. Me too. Well, that happens, when these gateways are opened. And I'm not saying that the only way it happens is for somebody to take a workshop I offer, but that is a way of opening the gateways. And when the gateways open, there is energy in one's life. There's vitality at whatever age you are, and the ability to be renewed in your life. So, Pat, I'd love to read
please
something from a woman who took the course, and she wrote to us, us who put it on, to tell us, how important it was for her. So here's what she said. She said, "Dear teachers, I just have to tell you again how much primal spirituality meant to me. It is truly a life changer. You have created something here with your hearts and souls and intellect and high consciousness that can create a shift in the world, just starting with those of us who are privileged to have been in this seminal program. Over the decades of my life and my careers and experiences around the globe, I have either created or been a part of programs of all kinds in the areas of spirituality and in other cultural/spiritual training. And I've seen some very good programs. And I don't think that my experience of the Primal Spirituality program is simply right time, right place, which of course it also is. I believe that you have created something truly wonderful, and I saw and felt it in every person in that room. There was magic during that first evening and during those 4 days. You built something that allows people to open themselves slowly enough and yet deeply enough to have awareness and breakthroughs in a place so safe that not only is resistance futile, but resistance becomes unnecessary because it is clear to all that you are safe and accepted at all levels. I want to thank you for your creation and to all the exceptional facilitators of the program as well. It was all divinely ordained. Love and blessings, Katie.
Wow.
Yeah, I was privileged to receive that from her.
You know, I want to ask you about this, David, because, you know, you and I have said yes to the life that we're living right now. You know, we are creating things, but I think it's really important for us to talk for a minute about what you just read, but also the spirit of the creation. You know, many people think that, you know, you and I come on air, or maybe me and someone else comes on air, and that we sometimes work in a vacuum. But I want to ask you, even though we haven't talked about it today, I want to ask you about partnership and collaboration, especially as it has to do with that fourth gateway, that gateway 4, you know, where we're talking about action. I used to be a loner most of my life, quite an introvert, but today, just about everything we do, we are in partnership with someone else.
Yeah.
And I can't explain how that happened.
Really, here we are, a couple of introverts on a radio show talking to the world. So how does it happen? And, you know, I'll just say, when your heart breaks open, and however that happens for you, your life changes. Your life changes. And there are things that open to you that weren't open before. And then, you know, speaking of fulfilling mission, you have a sense of the largeness of the stage that you're on, the largeness of the world and what's happening and your place in the world. And it may be, you know, the world of your family, the world of your friends, your community, your organization, but you have a sense of yourself and the significance of who you are and what you could be creating with others on that stage. And I think when we realize that something from us could make a difference in the world as it is, like something we say, something we do, something we create now could change the trajectory of somebody's life, we get hugely motivated to do that thing. And then if we meet somebody else who shares that same sense of mission, it may be a partner creating a family, or somebody else who's creating a project with you, or somebody else who has the grand vision of changing the world, whether it's through politics or some other way, then there's some kind of bonding and co-creation. And of course, it takes emotional intelligence to keep that going. Mm-hmm. Because so often large projects get scuttled just because of a lack of emotional intelligence, a lack of understanding, a lack of blessing. And so I think we always have to go back to that tenderness of heart. We have to go back to the revolution of tenderness and a warmth of heart, because in that tenderness, we can continue to learn. We can continue to bond with another person. We can continue to do the dance of relationship and of co-creation with each other and do something good in fulfilling the reason why we got born into this world in the first place.
Mm. Wow. You know, thank you, David, for today. Again, you know, there's so much that you are bringing forth and sharing with people. And, you know, if people go to your website, are they going to be able to see how to sign up for the workshops? I'm sure that's the best place for everyone to go, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, unbelievable. DavidKarchere.com. One last question, David. What is your personal message? What would you like to leave us with?
It is that we all came here for a reason. We all got born for a reason. We were born into the world because the world needs us. It needed that very special essence that we have to bring, and that very special gift that we have to bring, and those things that are unique to us to do and to fulfill in our life related to other people. So let's give that gift, and let's be the fullness of who we are, which is our fulfillment as a human being.
I love it. David Karchere, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. Thank you so much, David, for all that you do. Thank
you, Pat.
We're going to take a short break, everyone. And when we come back, Christine Upchurch is in the house. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You've been listening to Becoming a Sun Radio, emotional and spiritual intelligence for a happy, fulfilling life with David Karchere. Tune in monthly on the Dr. Pat Show Network for this life-changing show. David brings the knowledge about primal and embodied spirituality to the forefront. You can learn more about David and his spirituality programs at davidkarchere.com. That's David, KARCHERE.com. See you there.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.